Hi there, welcome. This is Mark Ambrose, the minister from Witham URC, the church in the High Street. And this is the midweek catch-up. Really pleased to be able to do this and just to share a little something with you. I had a report from an old minister friend of mine this week, and he was talking about something, and it really sort of made me think, and I started and thought, right, I'm going to have to sort this out. So I got my Bible open and looked at Genesis 1 and 2, and he said that there was, when God created the world, every day when he created something, he said this is very good, but there was one thing that was not good. And I was thinking, what could that be? But when I looked it up, of course, it was the time when God saw that Adam was on his own and said it's not good for him to be alone. He needs a helper. And so he created Eve for him. And it really is not good to be alone all the time. I mean, there are lovely things we can do when we're alone, which I shall go into in a little while. But God created us for community. He created us to love one another, to share with one another, to be with one another. And that's the real joy of being human, is being able to share things with each other and to love one another. And I really, really miss you all and seeing you all. You're like family to me. And as I can't see you with all this social distancing, it's very hard for me. And I'm sure it's hard for you too, because it's not good that we are on our own. And I hope and pray that this lockdown will gradually cease and that we'll get back to normal living again. But there are really good things that we can do if we are on our own. And there are always times when it's good to be alone. I'm the sort of person that never ever, I try never to be on my own if I can help it. I love people and I just want to be with people all the time. That's where I get my inspiration from and help from. And of course, it's difficult suddenly when you find yourself on your own. But there are lots of good things that you can do on your own, and that when you are forced to be on your own for a little while, it does make you stop, and it makes you think, and you look back over your life and you can see things you've done right, things you've made mistakes on, things you're happy with, things you're embarrassed about. You can look back and think, wow, and you can see God's hand at work in your life over a long time. Of course, in the Old Testament, the prophets often spent a lot of time on their own in the wilderness. They went out in the wilderness. In fact, the Desert Fathers did in the 2nd and 3rd century. They spent a lot of time out just in the wilderness, seeking God, trying to get rid of all the distractions of things around them. And it has been lovely. I've found really good that actually for the first time I can do my morning thought, I can read my Bible, and I've got time to actually sit and pray at the end of it. Most often, the phone goes and I'm out of bed and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and suddenly my prayer time disappears. But it's lovely just to have that time and to spend that time with God, of course, who is our closest friend and helper. Jesus himself, of course, went up into the mountains to pray on his own, and it's a good thing to do. But I just pray that it's not that good, because I don't want it to last much longer. But anyway, just to give you some thoughts. So do try to make this time if you are alone. Some of you aren't. Some of you are at work, and some of you are in a house full of people, and this is going completely over your head, and I'm sorry if that's the case. You'd probably love to have some time on your own, but I think there's a really good balance to be had. And I think certainly in the past my life's been too frantic, too full, and I haven't had the time to sit and think and meditate on God. I hope and pray that this time is not being too difficult for you. If there is anything we can do to help, do please let us know. We're trying to do what we can. This week we're going to start having a Bible study on this one's on Thursday night. Whether it will be on Thursday nights for the rest of the time, I don't know. But at 8 o'clock, we'll be having a Bible study on Zoom, and anybody who's wired up can join in, and I'd love to see you there. I think that would be really helpful. Pastoral news. I've had a message from David Wellings, David and Sarah, who were going to get married in a couple of weeks' time before this pandemic came. And beginning of June, they were going to have a huge wedding, and everybody was going to be invited, and it was going to be a wonderful, wonderful time. Well, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, it hasn't managed to happen. The churches aren't allowed to do weddings at the moment. I hope it's going to be relaxed soon. And when they do, David and Sarah will be getting married at some time. I can't say when at the moment. But please don't turn up at church in a couple of Sundays' time thinking that you're going to go to the wedding, because it's just not going to happen. Otherwise, I'm going to finish now, and I have an elders meeting tonight where we're starting to think about the preparations for getting back to church again, which is really exciting. And the rest of the week I shall be busy writing my sermon and filming and videoing and recording and doing all sorts of crazy things, just to try and bring you something to think about over the weekend. I hope and pray that during this time that you do find time to meet with God. May God bless you. Bye-bye.